Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Anecdotal Economist, and today I'm here to tell you there's just not enough gold. We could never have a gold standard again, or at least that's what somebody tried to tell me the other day. We had a little discussion, we could call it an argument maybe, and I'm here to talk about both sides of just that argument. Let's get into it. I got in a nice big gold order. Okay, that didn't come out the way I thought it would. That's where it comes from.
Here, pick it up, feel it, tell me what you think.
No other mint has this issue.
The triangle has replaced the British pound.
Like little trading cards.
That's a naughty word. We never rob. We just sort of borrow a bit from those who can afford it.
Okay, so before we get into it, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. As I'm watching this or creating this video, I'm about to eclipse 1,800 subscribers. I can't believe the amount of growth, so thank you so much for those of you who have subscribed. So let's get into the story here. A good friend of mine got a perfume bottle in the shape of a gold brick, and I mean, it was a huge brick, like this big. For a second, I was like, there's no way that's gold, and I picked it up, and of course it was just plastic. I mean, that thing would have been worth $1 million. He came around and basically asked, how much would that be worth? And I was like, man, that would be worth a ton of money, and he had no idea. And I said, yeah, gold could be money, and I had the conversation of, trying to share some knowledge of what gold and silver have done historically and the problems with our debt. And he understood. He was like, yeah, money sucks right now. Debt sucks, life's hard, all of these kinds of things. And what really came of it was at the end of the argument, he went, well, I just can't understand it. It could never work because there's just not enough gold. How would everybody be able to walk around with gold in their pocket? I tried to explain to him it's just a matter of price, but he just couldn't quite comprehend it. And it made me realize that this is a difficult argument to articulate to somebody who hasn't spent a lot of time thinking about it. And there may be some of you in this channel who think it could never happen. Watching this, I know that, that's not a universal truth that people believe that is going to happen. So I want to break it down. To do that, the first thing I think we need to do is look at how much gold is there actually. So check this out. So this is a visualization. Now this is quite old. This is from like 2010, 2011. I don't know the exact year. So there would be a little bit more gold than this, which is an important point. Gold grows at about 2% a year, give or take, but that's roughly the rate that it comes out of the ground, which is absolutely incredible when we think that that's the Fed's target for inflation. And that's what gold does naturally. That's a conversation for another day, but just interesting, just a little food for thought tidbit that I might do in a future video. But here you're seeing all the gold ever mined, for all intents and purposes, close enough. Look at the size of that. It's tiny. Can you believe that when you see it visualized? Just one cube. They say it's the size enough to fill an Olympic swimming pool, and what you're actually seeing is the house is sitting in the Olympic swimming pool alongside the gold. So you just think that all of that being divided up around 6 to 7 billion people, there's just no way that could ever work. Or is there a way? So let's just talk about a few different ways that could happen. And then I want to talk about some alternatives and maybe some reasons why it can't. Now I'm going to pull out these goldbacks just as a fun thought experiment. See, I don't have a lot of small things. I have shown you guys on the channel before my 25-gram sheet of gold maples. I have some other 1-gram bars and things like that, but they're not super practical when you think about 6 billion people. And in fact, let me just do the math. So I just did the math, and carry the 6, you would be able to have approximately just under 1 ounce, 0.97 ounces, repeated of course, per person. So that's about 1 bar of gold per person. And so, okay, that's interesting, but I mean, imagine if this bar was our money, meaning this had to represent all of your wealth. Now, some people would have significantly more than 1 ounce. Maybe they'd have 3, 4, 5, 20. Some people would have significantly less, maybe a 1/4 ounce or a gram or something like that. Interesting to think about, isn't it? So how would it work? Well, it's just a matter of price. If gold was to represent 100% of our money, and we were still going to call it dollars, okay, we would just have to divide all the dollars into gold until this ounce of gold, you've heard wild speculations where people say, well, this could be worth $50,000, $100,000 an ounce. That's how it would have to work. And then you might say, well, that's sort of still impractical. Well, that's where something like the goldbacks or these little gram cards, check this out as an example. So you've got these little 1 gram bars that they're in the shape of a credit card that can go in your wallet, or even these little quarter grain card. They're these tiny little gold bars, $27 as you can see, and they again would just fit in your wallet. So there are ways that we can make gold practical to carry physically, but that's not even to think about the fact that you could have gold in your bank account and just use a credit card just like you always do, and so it wouldn't matter. Now the question is, would we still call them dollars? Well, dollars used to be a weight of gold. Maybe the world standard would be grams. Who knows? But there is a way to make it work. Might be a little inconvenient though. And so my next thought is, okay, well, if that ever happened, it's very unlikely that the world would just use gold. And I know a lot of you silver bugs out there, you're with me, are thinking we might need to look at using a little bit of silver. Okay, silver coins could fill the gap for those smaller transactions. If this, 1 ounce coin, I'm not going to do the math on silver, but there's significantly more of it than there is gold, right? This could be worth $100, $200, $300 an ounce. Maybe the conversion ratio from silver to gold could get locked in at 15, maybe at 50. Hard to say, but there is a way it could work. And I maintain, I've said this for a long time, that silver is an okay hedge. It's a good metal to own, but the only way that silver is truly going to skyrocket, and I know this is just my opinion, guys, I could be wrong, and I like hearing comments from other people, but a lot of other people say, well, it's going to skyrocket because of debt, or it's going to skyrocket because of, they're using it in solar panels, they're using it in missiles. Yes, silver is used in things, but the problem with thinking that silver is going to explode in value because it's being used in things is that it can be replaced. Right? We use less silver today in microchips and cell phones than we used to because the price has gone up. The same will be true of batteries. The same will be true of any technology. This happens with everything. Just like copper pipes eventually got replaced with PVC pipes because that was cheaper. So it's an ever-changing battle. If your business case for your metals is that you think they're going to be used in industry, well, you might be waiting a long time, possibly forever. But my end game for silver has long been that the only way, it'll basically hold its value, but the only way it will ever truly skyrocket is if we see silver begin to be money again. And I just don't see that happening until gold takes off first. Gold's got to start it. And then once gold runs into the problem where there's quote unquote not enough, that's where I believe silver would come back in. Hey, who knows? We might even see copper make an appearance. So I'd love for you guys to leave me a comment what you think about all this, and am I making sense? I have a really hard time staying on track because there's so many different variables to think about, but I do enjoy trying to think about it. The main takeaway for me is that there is absolutely enough gold in the world to work as a monetary asset, especially if you include silver as that backup portion. Right? And I'm sure everyone on this channel, well, you may or may not have heard this. This is one of my absolute favorite sayings. They say that gold is the money of kings, silver is the money of gentlemen, copper the money of peasants, and debt is the money of slaves. So please, if you're watching this channel, don't be a slave. Get yourself out of debt. Get into some copper, silver, and especially gold. So with that, I hope I've made myself clear. It's time to review a coin. And today, I think we've got to take a look at these goldbacks. Maybe I will do an entire video on goldbacks at some point. They are really cool. I plan to collect them from every state. And I'll tell you, a lot of people don't like goldbacks, and I understand because the premium's essentially 100%. I think that's right. Now, I would argue that that is not actually that bad when you compare premiums to other very small increments of gold. So as an example, I showed this quarter grain pure thing. That's $27 for a quarter grain. A quarter grain is worth like $1. Okay, maybe $1.50. So just to put that in perspective, that is like a 1,000% premium. Now maybe this is closer to that. I think these are $5 for a thousandth of an ounce. So if you do the math on that, it's very easy because it's a thousandth of an ounce. So you just take $2,600 is the price today. Divide by 1,000, you got $26. Sorry, $2.60. I can do math. And so you're paying 100%. These are about $5. Okay, you can get ripped off on these just like you can on anything else. So you got to buy them when they're fair value. And the nice thing is, goldbacks will buy them back. There is a buyback program through some specific dealers that you can go online, and they will pay you the goldback market rate, which you can find on their website. So just you know, these do have some advantages over a lot of the competition in the ultra small increment 1/1000th of an ounce bills. Now for me, these are just a collectible. I want to get one of every size from every state, and I also want to get a thick stack. They come, I think you got to get 100 at a time. So it's 1/10 of an ounce, and yes, you overpay for it, but to me it's just cool to have a big stack of gold bills sitting on my desk while I work. Pick it up, play with it, you know? So I'm gonna get one of those soon. But I think you guys get my point. These are just cool to look at. I think everybody should have a couple. You know, I don't think this is something that you quote unquote stack. Could it be a part of your stack? Could it be something that you use to talk to other people and say, hey, look at how cool this is. By the way, this is how we could maybe go back to a gold currency in this age of AI and the lack of digital trust, which I think is only going to get stronger. I've said that over and over. Something like this gold back could truly play a role. I have more. I don't know where they are. They'll have to go dig them out of my safe. So maybe in another video, we'll do a review of gold backs. I'm kind of going too far, but my point is these are really cool, and I'm going to stick them back in their sleeve to protect them because, like I said, they are a little bit of a collectible for me. Someday goldback may go out of business and these could be worth a pretty penny, or I'd be really happy if they didn't and this just became a proper currency again. So I'm gonna stick this back here for now, little piece of eye candy. And I guess nothing's getting replaced on the main screen today. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Anecdotal Economist. I truly appreciate you watching. If you'd like to give me a like and a subscribe, that's always appreciated. And of course, if you want to leave a comment, but you have nothing to say, we always have a keyword to go on the bottom. Today's keyword will be copper.
Kilogram, you're the dragon, you're the rabbit.
Okay, let's look at the money side now. Watch as I pull this bad boy out of here. Absolutely stunning once you get it out of the case. Feeling the weight of this in my hand, oh, that's such a good feeling.
I never had enough gold.